welcome back to the Horror Herald. Oh, is this weird to you?
Oh.
I don't know if it's weird to you. If you listen to us on Spotify or SoundCloud or what other places do we have? Do we have Apple Music?
We have Apple Podcasts.
We have Apple. No, Apple Music. I don't think we want to be on that.
No.
But yeah, hello. So hey, long time.
No here.
No here, no listen. Yeah, hi there. Hi guys. So if you haven't already seen, we've posted a video on our channel. Mm-hmm. It's kind of an update video on where we are as in our lives and what's going on with us as a channel. But basically we kind of just said that, this is a big year for both of us, and we just kind of wanted to take a little not gap year, take a little break, because we kind of realized, I'm reiterating what we would have said in the video, but I think we both kind of realized that, last year was a bit of a rough year for us. Not in a personal level, but, we did 4 videos, was it, Louis?
Yeah,
like 4 videos in a whole year. And we would have loved to do more.
It's just, it takes a long time
to
film, and release.
Yeah.
And it's also, we're just real busy, man.
We're busy. And I think, I'm in my final year of uni, and I'm going to be leaving the country in a few months. And Louis, you're doing a short film, aren't you?
I'm DOPing a short film, and that's taking the life out of me. God, it's so boring.
Things are going on. I know. Things are going on, but we realized there's so much going on, but we don't want to give up on this channel because we love this channell. And I know, we have a small fan base, but most of you are friends. But for the 1 or 2 or 3 of you who are listening who don't know us personally, for you all, we just kind of decided that we don't want to get exhausted of this, because we're not, because we always want to do this. But we thought, let's go back to how it was fun for us in those early years, and that was just purely doing audio.
Because with audio, we can do it anywhere, and also it's just less time to edit. Yeah,
and it's just kind of like, it means we could probably do more than just, because it's a hard time, because we always need to go like, okay, we need set number of hours because we've got to set up our camera, and I've also said in the video, I know there's not much of an audience for it, but I always do a thing where every video I do like a sponsor.
Yeah.
And sometimes we will be postponing videos because I got to finish the sponsor, which I
have to wake up Leo from his little binge of alcohol.
Yeah.
And then, he
my
has to
alcoholic
wake up.
binge.
His alcoholic binge. He downloads a subscription of Binge. He downloads Binge and watches Halloween Kills 5 times in a row, and then drinks alcohol the whole time.
Because I'm like, what could have been? What could have been? No, but basically it's a thing that I used to always do for this, and I love it. But I realize that kind of always postpones us doing stuff. And I don't know if many of you even click on these sponsor ads, and not ads, but these websites that we make for fun. So we kind of decided that I'm going to stop doing that unless some of you ask for it back. Yeah. I'm going to start doing that. But I think I would have said in the video, I'm making a website for us. It'll be a Horror Herald website, and you can just check out all the websites then, and all our videos there on that. So that's going to probably be our sponsor if we had one, is we'll go check out the Horror Herald website. But basically, we're letting go of that. So basically going back to not bare bones, but we're just doing audio.
Yeah, and it's more casual.
It's more casual. It's more fun. We're also doing changes in the news segment. I'm just going to read off my phone and see what we find together. It's going to be casual this year. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to see our faces ever again.
No, we might, there might be like a movie that comes out where we have to
do a video or do sketches for that or something.
Sketch, or even if I just suddenly have spare time on my hands and want to make a video like I did that. No, I didn't make that FNAF video. That wasn't me. That was some other guy.
That was some other guy from 2013.
From 2013. No, because it was before FNAF. So
yeah, right. But the point is, this isn't the end of video. I mean, there's a chance that when we're maybe in a year or something, or a little while, when we aren't as so busy or we know our schedules, we'll go, okay, we'll go back to video again. But for now, for 2025, at the very least, we're going strictly audio, baby.
Yeah, it's almost 6 years of the Horror Herald.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't... Yeah, 6 years. Wow. But this doesn't mean we're still going to be on the regular channels, aren't we, Louis? That's fine.
Spotify and all that
But yeah, if you haven't seen our video for talking about what's going to happen this year, we'll quickly plug in the other channel. So like Louis and I, we love horror. It's our thing. We're never going to stop talking about horror. But we also are big fans of the show Doctor Who. If you don't know, and we kind of realized that, you know, if we're going to spend this year just doing what we like, we want to talk about Doctor Who. And this is a big year for Doctor Who. We've got a season coming out. But basically, it's going to be a Doctor Who channel. And if you're into Doctor Who, give that a listen. But yeah, I mean, to do a little plug, we're going to do reviews of the new episodes coming out, which will probably be on a more timely manner because it won't take so much time to edit videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to probably do maybe rewatches. Our first video that we're going to be doing, first podcast we're doing is going to be our hot takes on Doctor Who. So if you want to hear some hot takes on that show, give it a listen. But yeah, we're joining the Australian Doctor Who community.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. Shout out to Crispy Pro. He's a Doctor Who YouTuber who's Australian. But we're joining, and it's going to be great. We're just going to have fun. And that's, you know, it's casual as well. So, but yeah, just then you know. So that's what we're doing. So if you want to keep on listening to us, we're doing that as well. So, yeah, if you want that constant, you know, Louis and Leo dopamine in you, give it that a listen. But yeah, Horror Herald, that's still our baby. Yeah. We're not giving this up. This is our focus. But we're doing that other part for fun.
Because like we're already gonna be set up this audio equipment. Might as well, you know, talk about Doctor.
We're gonna do maybe a couple episodes in a day. So we're doing that, and so we're doing Doctor Who. And that's going to be fun, so give that a listen. But look, you're here for Horror Herald. You're here for the monkey review. The monkey. But the monkey. So welcome to the monkey. Now, before we begin, there's a thing that we always do. I've said that sentence quite a bit. But yeah, that's something we always do. We talk about what would be a sponsor, but you frickers don't get that. no, I'm kidding. If you want it, ask. But we're going to be doing horror news, people. So how have I studied for this horror news? Not really. I've just gone on to Bloody Disgusting. And we're just going to talk about some of the stuff. Now, I think it always happens that Louis kind of already knows this news before I do, but that's okay. There's something here that I think he knows about. Another thing that's been out for a little while, so we're going to both probably know about it. And something else I hope he doesn't know about, but I don't know if he's going to care about, but I'll still say it. So the first thing I'll go through is a thing I don't know if he knows about. Oh, it probably does. It's been out for 3 days. That Netflix...
Yes.
All right, what is it then?
Cujo?
Fuck. Okay. Netflix is bringing Stephen King's Cujo back to life with a new movie.
Wow.
So... That's right, Cujo. If you don't know the story about Cujo, it's a fucking crazy ass dog. But no, something happened to the dog.
He gets bit by a bat.
He gets bitten by a bat.
He gets rabies.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the image. Gross. I felt bad for that dog. I've seen Cujo. Have you seen Cujo?
No.
I have that on DVD and I watched it with my brother, and yeah, I felt bad for the dog. And
What the dog?
What the dog doing? My first memory of Cujo actually was I watched Friends. You know Friends? And there was an episode of Friends where...
the monkey does a little dance?
Not the little monkey. Monkey?
Dance?
No. Where Rachel from the show is watching, I think with Joey, they're watching Cujo and Rachel's like screaming and like crying and hiding under the blankets. And I was like, oh my God, it must be that scary. And then I watched it, and you know, I think it's
definitely one of those movies that like it got popular in pop culture, and then their friend's writer was like, we've never actually seen it, but we're just gonna make them watch Cujo, and then they're just like, this happens.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know there was also a short story sequel for Cujo called Rattlesnakes. Do you know about that?
No.
Stephen King recently returned to the world of Cujo for a short story sequel titled Rattlesnakes, the long-awaited follow-up.
Long-awaited? Who was waiting
in last year's Kin anthology, You Like It Darker. I remember seeing that book on the shelves. You Like It Darker. I thought that was a really funny name.
You Like It
Darker.
You Like It Darker.
Because like the blurb is like, you always want to see the dark stories.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. You'd like it darker.
No one watches no one reads his Green Mile books or his Stand By Me. We all want to see that dark.
It's called The Body, not Stand By Me. No,
I've never read it, dumbass.
But basically, But basically, yeah, Netflix is going to be doing it. That has the producer of It, Roy Lee, on it. It's will go out for writers immediately. They haven't found writers yet.
Yeah, I think it's very early.
It's very early stages, but they know they want to do it. I guess they got the rights to it, and they want to do it. So, look, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I mean, I like Stephen King adaptations. Even the ones that are bad, I just like it because it makes me feel like I read the book.
I got the Langoliers on DVD. You know the one where
yes.
I really want to watch it.
Yeah,
I was at JB Hi-Fi and I was like, this is such a random thing to have.
It. I think, I have a few. I have like in my bookshelf, I have a Stephen King section, and then it goes to the Stephen King DVD zone because I still want to read. Because I bought the Children of the Corn DVD, which is a really hard thing to find. The Children of the Corn DVD. But I have the short story in a book, and I need to read the short story first.
I watched the movie because I wanted something to do, and it's fucking wild.
Yeah, which also has not Rachel. Does it have Rachel from Friends?
That's
Leprechaun. I'm thinking of
the Terminator woman.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Never mind. But that's it. That's that part of news. All right, moving on.
Butter dog.
Jenna Ortega and Taylor Russell in talks to lead single white female remake. Yes.
I really want to watch the original. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. It's a 1992 thriller called Single White Female.
I think it's a movie about where like a person just starts adopting the other person's personality.
Yeah, so I think it's called the synopsis is after an unfaithful fiance leaves her suddenly single. Allison Jones after an unfaithful fiance leaves her suddenly single.
Yeah. Suddenly
single. My gosh, I'm sorry, everyone. Allison Jones advertises for a roommate to share her spacious apartment, but when the introverted Hedra, I probably don't say that right, moves in, she doesn't just take over Allie's spare bedroom, she takes over her clothes, her boyfriend, and her identity. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. So cool.
So do you think this is going to be like?
To it?
Do you think this is going to be like the real Jenna Ortega?
Sorry?
Like the movie's going to be meta, and it's going to be she's going to play Jenna Ortega.
Oh.
And then someone goes into her apartment and like becomes like Wednesday.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
No.
Probably not. But it's a cool idea. You should pitch that. But. Yeah, so there's 3,000 pictures. We're trying to revive it. I don't know what that is. Sony's getting the rights to that.
3 minutes.
What the heck? Oh, I clicked on something. Oh god. But yeah, so it's just in the early stages. It seems there doesn't seem to be. It's just Taylor Russell and Jenna Ortega are just set to be in the new cast.
Would they have to change the name? It wouldn't be single white female then.
I don't know. Yeah. Who knows?
Interesting.
Who knows?
It's probably going to be like a remake by remake and not by title.
But apparently what's really... I've never seen the film, but Bravo, I don't know Bravo, they the 100 scariest movie moments of all time, and a moment from that film ranked at number 56.
Wow.
So there you go. So
it's probably when the single white female realized that her crime podcast ran out of episodes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. True crime podcast.
Crime podcast.
And then it went, ah!
And she screamed because...
Okay.
Oh,
Interesting connection.
You don't know about that stereotype?
I don't know about that stereotype.
Yeah, it's like this stereotype that like white middle-aged women love crime podcasts.
Good on them.
Yeah, which is like I like them too. I've never listened to them, but I like the idea of them.
Yeah, good on them. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. You can see the effort I put into talking about that one. But and the next one, which is cool, that I'm excited for, is that there's a reveal trailer for the new Silent Hill F. So there's a new Silent Hill game. It looks really cool. Seems to be set in Japan, which is, I don't know if that's new for Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's usually in America,
I think it's normally like, it's like a, I know it's a Japanese studio doing it all. Yeah. But I thought Ghibli. It was all like meant to be set in America. Mm-hmm. What did you say?
Studio Ghibli.
No, bro, you're wrong. But it looks really cool. I think it seems like it's about a schoolgirl.
Is that Capcom?
Friends.
Is it Capcom or is it?
I think so. It might be. I don't know.
Because Capcom's Resident Evil, isn't it?
Yeah, they're Resident Evil. I think it might not be Capcom, but I'm seeing here saying Epic Games. No way. No way. But the official synopsis reads, and forgive me, I'm going to definitely mispronounce these names.
Okay.
When Shimizu Hanako's scheduled town of Ibisogura is consumed by a sudden fog, her once familiar home becomes a haunting nightmare as the town falls silent. Oh, Silent Hill. And the fog thickens. Hanako must navigate the twisted paths of. Bet you're going to say this completely different again. Ibusukiyaka, solving complex puzzles and confronting grotesque monsters to survive. I've seen the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Those monsters look freaking grotesque. They do.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this, and I'm so happy that we get, because I got really obsessed with Silent Hill.
I bought the DVD recently.
Yeah, I got the
From the
DVD as
first
well.
one,
I got
yeah.
the DVD as well. But I got for some reason I just got really obsessed with Silent Hill. Like I always knew it was a cool franchise. So when the new one was coming out, I was like, oh, I gotta play the new one. And I got really obsessed and watched all these like ranking videos of Silent Hill. I do a thing a lot where I get obsessed with something.
You don't have.
And my issue, what I do
You
is
never
I
play
go
them.
is I do well. I can't play them because there's only one that's like. First of all, like all the other ones are in like PS3, not all the ones, but like some of them on PS3, which I don't have a PS3 for.
Loser.
And there was nothing for the PS4. There was no Silent Hill games, and then the rest of them on like PS2 and PS1, and the most rarest fucking games ever. Like you can try to find it online. I have a PS2.
Emulator?
I don't have an emulator. No, I don't. But basically, it's just expensive to try to get into those games. But I just got like what I do with things is that if I get obsessed over something. Like if I get obsessed over something, or like I would watch like one film and I know there's more, I would immediately go to the rankings, which is such a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
But I'm immediately go like, oh, I need to know everything about this. I need to know about like merchandise. Anyway, the point is, I got the Silent Hill 2 remake game, and I played it and I was enjoying it. But then I kind of like stepped away for a little bit because I got really scared and I haven't come back to it since, and I feel really bad.
Or we can play it together.
We can play it. We can play it together. But like, yeah, I think. Look, I can't wait to play this game. I'm happy that there's a Silent Hill Resurgence, so I'm excited to play that one. And it looks scary as fuck.
I got really into like the idea of Silent Hill recently.
Hell
That's why I
yeah.
got the DVD. I was like, damn, I just
And the fact that it was inspired by like Twin Peaks and shit, like I'm down.
hell yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we'll play Silent Hill. If you want to see Silent Hill gameplay, I guess I know we said we'll go back to just being a simple channel, but heck, we'll see. Anyway, let's move now on to the film. Let's move on now to the my gosh.
Mind.
Tell me what that is, guys. Is that dyslexia? I don't know if I have dyslexia, but okay. Well, everybody, now we're here for what you've been waiting for: The Monkeys, a Stephen King short story directed by and adapted by Ozgood Perkins. Ozgood Perkins, what a name. And there was another thing. What else was it? James Wan produced. That's right. So, so I'm trying to remember how we do these reviews because it's been so long. But basically,
overall thoughts, or
we'll do overall thoughts. But yeah, we both went to. Let's talk about how the experience of watching it. I love the experience of watching it.
It was a great.
I won't talk about the film part, but like the cinema that we went to.
I watched it. Yeah, it was 12 Entertainment Quarter.
Entertainment Quarter. We watched it quite late at night, and it was Entertainment Quarter is a place in Sydney, and. It was it was like this, we thought it was going to be a tiny room.
No, it's like a lounge.
Yeah, but we thought it was going to be a tiny room based off
this ticket selection.
Yeah, and it ended up being this like beautiful, there's like these like embroidered kind of lights and stuff.
Like a tanned leather.
Yeah,
couches.
it was it felt like 1920s vibes.
Yeah.
It was like really cool.
Yeah.
And we just went to the front row because there was like not many people there. There was like a few people who came in.
And
later.
it wasn't like front row where you have to look like crane your head up like the Twilight Marathon. It was like very much like it's just like you could.
Yeah,
look
it was like it was a small room, but it
Yeah.
was like really nice and cozy. And I think it's the perfect. I want to go back to that room.
I know. I watched Insidious: The Last Door there.
Really?
Yeah.
In that specific room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I want to make sure to always book that room because that room is
Studio
really
12.
cool.
Studio 12.
12. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall thoughts on the film. So what's really great about this is that you're gonna hear two differing opinions.
Let's go. This never happens.
Not really, because
Maxine.
Yeah, but even then, I could I don't feel as strong about Maxine as I feel as strong about this film.
Yeah.
So should we quickly say because I feel like we're gonna. I don't know if overall thoughts because they're both different. For me, I didn't like this film. I think I can get the appeal of it. There's a thing where I understand the appeal of it, and I understand that this is running on a different wavelength that I just didn't connect to. And it was a film that I think what really worked for a lot of people, it just didn't work with me. Yeah. And I can definitely acknowledge that is that I was in the theater and everyone was enjoying this film. I don't know if everybody thought it was the greatest film ever, but when the moments where you were meant to laugh, people were laughing. The moments where, you know, things were meant to happen, people were being affected by. And I could also tell I was also in a room with some people who, not my friends, because we went here with friends, but there's some people who I could tell maybe they weren't horror fans and they just came in. Because some bits that like you and I would be like, we've seen worse. Yeah. They were going like, oh my God, too. But it was a film that maybe I also went in the wrong expectation, but like based off the poster, like I can't tell myself that I was wrong for going in this expectation because it very much seemed in the promo photos in the trailer, maybe not in the trailer because I don't think I've seen like a proper trailer.
The trailer is like purely comedy.
Okay, then I haven't seen the trailer then. But like I went assuming that I knew it was going to be bonkers, but I was assuming it to be actually scary. I think of went in thinking this was. I didn't even think this was going to be a comedy. Maybe I did, but like I think I went into this assuming that it's going to be really dark, and people are going to be like, "Oh my God," about it, and. Because I was watching this like other Instagram videos of people like talking about it, going, "Oh, it's really scary" and stuff like that.
I think those are people who don't watch horror movies.
No, but there was one video where it was two people talking about. It was somebody from Morgue magazine, like one of those Rue Morgue magazines, like those horror magazines. She's a writer on it, and she said, "Oh yeah, it's a film with great gore and like really well, it does has good scares." We'll talk about that. It does. Yeah. But for me, I was expecting this is going to be a film that is going to be a horror film. You know, I understand there was going to be some comedy, but I went in going, okay, I'm expecting to laugh, but also get scared. Yeah. And for me, that never happened. Yeah. But that's expectations. But on the same time, it like even the poster said like everyone dies, and isn't that really? And that's messed up. That's messed up. Because that's. I guess that's funny. Movie. I guess
that's the theme of the movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
My thoughts. Loved it. Had a great old time. I had zero expectations because nowadays I don't go into any movie with any expectation of anything because I'm an epic gamer.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
No, but I knew it was going to be purely comedy. Pretty much. I knew that because that's what everyone was talking about. They were like, yeah, it's pretty much a comedy. But I do disagree that like you expect it was a horror. It is a horror movie. Because like Final Destination isn't scary, but it's a horror movie because there's gore and there's intense violence because that's horror, and this movie has intense violence and this movie has jump scares, and like even though like it doesn't affect me because I've seen worse. But there are people who are going to watch this movie. They're going like, "Oh my God, that was like so fucking intense." Yeah. But like, the horror is seen in a way that's meant to be kind of like nonchalant, you know, it's very much just like, "Oh fuck." Anyway, because life, everyone dies and that sucks. So like, that's,
I know when watching the film, that's what they were doing. Yeah,
and to me that just worked for me.
I just my brain was just like, you can do that, but also. Do some stuff that was scary. I was just assuming because it's fucking Ozgood Perkins who made
Longlegs,
the scariest film of last year.
Yeah,
I was just
he was going for a different direction.
This is totally fair, and I'm not blaming him. It's awesome. Do what the fuck you want. But my brain was just like, I was expecting you can be funny, but you can also like Nightmare on Elm Street. Like Freddy is like it's scary, but he's also really funny.
Yeah, but
it's like kind of
the
like
tone of that movie is more of a horror movie than a comedy. This is a horror comedy.
Sure. Okay, yeah. So look, but that's the thing. Yeah. I expected this to be a horror, like more of a horror with comedy in
elements,
it. Yeah. And I wasn't expecting it to be. And the thing is, like, but we'll go into it.
Yeah. Like
I didn't also love the comedy, so we'll get into that.
It's definitely a niche. It's definitely a specific type of comedy.
Sure. Yeah. We'll talk about it. But it's like it's a thing where like even if it's trying to be a comedy, I wouldn't say it completely succeeded as a comedy for me.
Yeah.
But for other people in the audience, it clearly did. It clearly did.
This movie's so funny.
So we'll talk about it. We always do a thing where we start off with the positives. I have forgotten.
Do you want to start with negatives?
No, we'll do positives. We'll definitely do positives.
My positives are much longer than the negatives for me.
Yeah, we'll take turns as well because my negatives are longer than the positives. But this being said, I do want to say I don't hate this film. I think if you... Like, I might be a little bit harsh on it if you check my letterbox. Yeah. But like... Yeah, it's a fine film. Like for me, like if you like, go and watch it. It just didn't connect for me. That's all. But definitely go and watch it. Oof. It's like same these like this isn't the same thing. But for example, like I watched Evil Dead 2. Yeah. Didn't connect to it.
Yeah.
but I understand why everyone loves it.
Yeah.
And then it took a couple of rewatches, and I was like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
So this could be the same thing with this film. I think.
I have the same with so many movies where you watch it and you're like, I understand why everyone loves it. It's just not a movie for me.
Yeah.
And
I think it's the same thing for me.
There's movies like I understand why people wouldn't like it, but this movie was made for me.
I don't outwards hate this film.
Yeah. It's like Army of Darkness was made for me.
Yeah, I love Army
of
Darkness.
That movie was made for me.
That's my favorite of the
movie was
trilogy.
made for me.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the monkeys. So let's do the positives. Should I start with the positive?
Start with the positive?
There's some really good humor in this. Yes. So while I will go on into probably a tangent when we get to the negatives, there are some jokes in here that I can't deny fucking got me. Yeah. Like this, I'm trying to remember them. Like,
I love when the mother goes like, "Do you want some this?" And it's like when like every time the kids come home, she just always like asks if they want a certain type of food that's really ridiculous. Like, do you want some like gopher or like some like fairy fungos on you?
Okay, yeah.
And the kid's like, "No," and she's like, "Okay."
I did laugh at the bit, even though for me at first I thought it was like, how does this fit?
Yeah.
But I loved the bit when they cheered when they were. Oh, by the way, spoilers. Sorry.
Spoilers.
We should say we're going to spoilers. So that was your non-spoiler bit. Was how we felt. We're going into straight spoilers. Yeah. So, but like for me, when they were dragging down the body down the hill, and all the cheerleaders were like, "Hell yeah, they're bringing down the body!" I was like, that shit was funny to me. Yeah. Although my brain was like, it felt random, but I can't deny random humor is my humor.
So funny.
So it got me good. And then I liked in the church scene when the guy was like, "Fuck, fuck." I will say I'll get onto that. I think that scene went on a little bit too long. Like a big point, maybe I'll just say this now, but I felt like some parts of this, like the joke is great, but then like for that scene in particular, it was dragged on so long that it just stopped being funny. But people in the theater still found it funny. But for me, I was like, okay, I get it. You don't know what you're saying. Yeah. Do we need to drag this on for 3 minutes? Anyway, but that's okay. But the instant bits like that was funny. Yeah. Some of the shock deaths, like the pool, was funny. Yeah. Look, it's a quirky film, and I like that.
I do like the death. We're like, let's just try it, and it cuts to the uncle being dead.
Yeah. That was funny. That was funny. Yeah. So I think there's some really good humor in this, and I think. And
then I'll just go into one of mine, which is the humor.
Go for it. Yeah.
Humor nailed perfectly for the tone of the movie. Even if you don't like the comedy, you can definitely say the comedy is the tone of the movie. Yeah. This movie is never like, I'm gonna say a quip, and it's like a Marvel movie. Like. Yeah. It takes 5 eggs to crack an omelet and like language. It's never like that. This movie is like, the world is funny. Like the world they live in is so fucked up that everything that happens is funny. Like a person will just die in front of the main character and he'll be like, fuck. And like, it's horrific, but then he'll just like move on from it. And it definitely is, this movie world is not realistic. This is a Stephen King. It's a Stephen King book, short story. So first of all, it's never going to be realistic if you watch any Stephen King movie. No one acts normally, and I think, and Ozgood Perkins, even in Longlegs, no one's normal in that movie. So like, I think like this movie is perfectly translates of like, this movie isn't like a realistic narrative of what would actually happen if these characters in a real world found a monkey that did this. This movie's plot is just metaphor and just symbolism. Yeah. And just comedy. Like, this movie isn't going for like, this is what would happen if games were real, like Pixels. Like, this movie isn't like, this is if this was real, or what if this was real, or if superheroes were real, like The Boys. It's like, no, this is like, if you went to the Willy Wonka world and gave them a killer monkey, and that's like the Tim Burton like Willy Wonka, and like, look at this monkey. Yeah. So I think perfectly nailed that tone for me. Yeah. I can get you. I think it took a little while for me to adjust to that, because I think I went in going, I think once again half expectation, but I went in going, like, I knew from the opening that things were going to be silly. Yeah. But like, die in fiery
there's some
hell,
stuff in this that like, while I get the world is silly, I still couldn't help but feel kind of negative about. But I'll get to that in the negatives.
I think this isn't me bonking my own horn or whatever, but I think whenever I see a movie, I always like try my absolute best at the start of the movie, even if it's a movie I do hate. Like, even if I think it's a bad movie, I always go like, okay, what is this movie trying to get me into? And I always go, if I start the movie and the movie is going like, this is the world we are in, I'm like, I'm going to judge this movie on that world.
Yeah.
Even if it's a movie like I hate, like if it's a movie like
no, yeah, same.
you know, like if I'm going to a movie and the tone of it changes throughout the movie and it's fucked up, like kind of like Fart Eyes. If like that movie, it started me with a tone but kept changing it, so that's a negative. This movie stuck with the tone, even if you don't like the tone, like you don't love that tone. For me, I did like the tone, and it didn't waver from that tone for me. It stayed throughout that tone and stayed that the whole movie. So that's why I did enjoy it the whole way through. But because you didn't like it, like that tone, and it continued to not waver from that tone and that way, it just didn't click for you. That's what I think.
You
know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, sure. Like I didn't hate. I liked the opening. Like I liked the opening, and I liked that tone. But I think it's just like that. I'll get into the negatives. I think a lot of it was like on the nose for certain bits that I can like, but like if I can go like, oh, I can like. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm like, oh, I could easily write that. Like if I feel like there's some scenes where I'm like, that could have been written so much better. Or like, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to get into negatives yet. Yeah. We'll talk about it when I get to negatives. But I get you. Like, if you like this tone, amazing. Yeah. But like, it's that for me, I was maybe confused more on tone other than like my brain was like mixed between tone, but also me thinking, oh, is this like, this feels like a first draft to me. Like it felt a bit like I get tone, but I felt like you could be smarter with it because a lot of it felt very like, we're going to be silly and on the nose, which is fine, but like...
I see what you mean, but I think...
We'll get to it in negatives, but...
I might forget.
Do you want to talk about it now? Well, let's talk about it now. Yeah, let's talk about it now.
I see what you mean, but in my opinion, the movie isn't aiming to be a way like that. Isn't aiming to be like, oh, we're going to say this message in a really nuanced way.
I get you.
In that kind of way.
I'm not asking for it to be nuanced, but I just... I think it's what you're saying, is if I'm not enjoying the way they're telling it,
then
I'm not going to suddenly go, okay, I'll switch off my brain. And because I feel like my brain's just like, oh, this film could have... I don't know. It's kind of a thing where...
but like I think I like movies that aren't, or that are sometimes on the nose like this.
Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. Like I'm not saying that, but I'll get... Because I have so much of the negatives about being like the writing that I just feel like we're going to immediately switch to negatives. Yeah. Could we stay on positives maybe, and then we'll move on to that? Because I get you.
Because I think we're going to heavily disagree with each other.
And and that's going to be fine. But look, at the end of it, like, listen, if you like, but on your thing, if you like the tone, awesome. Yeah. I think it's it's a tone that I wish I enjoyed. Yeah. It's a tone that I wanted to be on the train, but I wasn't on the train, and that's just a personal thing. Yeah. I think I don't think it's the movie's fault for being that tone. I think it's cool to be on that tone. Yeah. I just think for me, I can't act like in this review that I had a great experience with it. So I'm going to have to say I had negative experiences with it. Yeah. But like if you had great experiences with it, that is just as valid as mine, if not more valid. Yeah.
No, it's just as valid.
Just as valid. But I'm just saying like, I don't, if you were on the train, amazing. And I don't blame this film for being on that train. Yeah. Okay. I agree with you on that. I'm just still going to say that I didn't enjoy
You didn't
the
like
train.
it. Yeah.
I didn't make that. I'm a bit mad that I didn't get to go on the train. Yeah. I'm going to complain New South Wales Transport that I didn't get on the train.
You missed the train by 5 minutes. And
but we'll get to that. But like, I agree on your point. If you like the tone and you stuck with the tone, amazing. Yeah. Good for you. You're going to enjoy this film. That's the point of this film. They want people on that tone to enjoy this tone. Yeah. Great. I agree with you on that. But for negatives, I wasn't on the tone. Should I move to a positive? I was never bored of this film. Like, even if I can say I didn't love this film, I was never bored. It always, for better or for worse, mostly better. Yeah. They always catch you entertained with like a shock bit or a little bit like that. Like I was entertained throughout, and this is an entertaining film to definitely bring your friends to go and watch. Yeah. So I think there's that. Did you want to move on to a positive?
I loved the little bits of music. What's the word? Like musical backs. It's whenever the monkey was on screen or when the monkey was doing its thing, the carnival type music that would play was very haunting and like a lot of dread of like, and the character like, oh no, oh fuck. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the constant tone of that music, like the joyful like playing and the drums and the constant like drum and the cymbals and all that stuff. I think that was really well placed.
Yeah.
I think I'll go to this one because we kind of already talked about this. An unapologetic fun film that doesn't make excuses for itself. So that's like what we kind of talked about before. If you don't like that, that's perfectly okay. But for me, this movie didn't wish-wash on that. It was the film that it is, and if you don't like it, that's fine. But if you like it, you're gonna love it. So, and this film doesn't go like, oh, we're too scared to go in this weird way because we're anxious little Marvel movies and we don't want to be like we don't want to get anyone away. We don't want to like scare people away with this weird ass tone. It's like no, this is like unapologetically this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think,
and doesn't mean you have to like it.
Yeah, but I think that's also, I get you, but I think that can be a thing with like, a lot of films in general, like. I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, but it has a specific tone that connects to some people.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm still going to, critique it. And it's like, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Like, I think Rob Zombie's tone is, I hate it, but at least he has one. Mm-hmm. At least he has a fucking tone, unlike most of the film Marvel movies.
Yeah.
You know, at least, like Taika Waititi had a tone, and then he went to Marvel, and he completely lost it.
Yeah.
Like, his tone is still there, but it's not good anymore. You know, so it's like it's like that kind of vibe. It's like you've lost that tone. But I think Ozgood, throughout these two movies I've seen, those movies are unapologetically his tone.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on to positive for me, I think there are some. I like how some shots of the monkey was done.
Yeah.
Like I one specific moment is when I forgot who's looking out the window, but like there's the eyes in the darkness and it gets closer. Yeah. And there's some really cool experimental shots as well, like falling down the well. That's so cool. And I really think shots like that is really cool. And I think once again we're talking about tone, it adds to the tone-ish. Yeah. But I think those shots are like, oh, that's cool. I want more of that. But I'm not mad that I didn't do as much with that. But when those little moments happened, they were great, and I like those shots.
The cinematography of this movie is great. I wrote cinematography. I love the way this movie looks. I like how it allows itself to have standoff shots and not like locked on shots, and it doesn't like. Some movies like have the camera move around a bit too much. Jill Toro, what's his name? Guillermo del Toro. In some of his movies, I think the camera moves a wee bit too much and it's a bit distracting. In The Shape of Water, that was one of my critiques of that movie. But I think this movie, it's not afraid to have those weird, crazy ass shots, but it's also not afraid to just have a camera lock on and shoot for like a long period of time. So I really do enjoy that because I feel like a lot of films are kind of afraid to like have a shot linger. There's always like that quick, fast pace, but this movie like keeps that editing and those long shots. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I think some of the some of the gore was cool. Yeah. I think on a separate thing, I think obviously it's more CGI than practical, which is fine. Like if you're gonna do that, awesome. But I think it was cool. I liked. Spoilers, the bee death, that was a cool little fun. Face, like with the jaw. It looked really cool. Like obviously it's CGI, obviously,
but it still looks cool.
It still looks really cool, and I think the gore for the most part was great. Yeah, I think not a complaint there. In a horror film, you nailed the gore. I think it's cool.
Good job, man.
Yeah,
good job, Ozgood.
Yeah. Do you wanna go?
Callbacks coming back. Thematically and comedy, I really did enjoy. I know you said you didn't even realize this, but the Pale Horseman was brought up like 3 times in the film, and it comes back at the very end.
Didn't realize that.
And I really like that because Stephen King loves callbacks and loves like mythology coming back and like signs from like like The Shining and all that stuff. So I was like, ooh, that's very Stephen King of characters bringing something up. And in this wacky world, to my brain, I was like, this whole movie is just fucking massive metaphor. And like, so this movie having a pale horseman go past, I'm like, that fits perfectly because it then goes into what the father asks his son. Like it perfectly leans into that and that perfect ending of that story arc with them. I think that's a very nice callback. And even the callback of the dancing, I really did enjoy that callback of when the mother after, was it the father passed away? Oh, someone passed away. the babysitter, when the babysitter passed away, and they got back, and the mum was like, let's just dance, because she's a very realistic mother. She's not optimistic. She's very much like, we're all gonna die, but let's just fucking dance. And I really like that. After this whole movie, everyone dies. The dad is like to his son, let's just dance. And I really like that callback, because it's the metaphor of the movie. Everyone dies, and that messed up, but there's a hidden tagline of everyone dies, that's messed up, let's dance. So I really, really enjoyed that part of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I love Andrew Scott. I love him in the opening. God, I wish there was more of him, but I understand for him to be just in the opening, that makes sense. I didn't need him to come back.
He was busy filming Severance.
Yeah, I didn't even come back, but I was like, I noticed a big trend in this film where a couple of people, there was a couple of guest stars, like Elijah Wood was in there, where like, I would expect him to be in the film more, but they're like there for a scene. And I'm fine with it with Andrew Scott. I wish Elijah Wood was in it more.
Same. That is something I would say. I wish.
I feel like he would have, like he kind of was just there for like a little. Yeah. Like I get it. He's like the top parenting guy, and I think that was like meant to be like a whole joke thing there. I think that was one of the few times I was like, oh, that joke to me doesn't fully work.
No, that joke didn't really.
It didn't really land. But I think. And that's in the middle moments where I feel I can see whether maybe they're going a little bit too much with that tone for me. That he's the top parent guy and he's got all these books. Look at these books, and I'm like, that part didn't.
It's a very Stephen King thing that didn't land in this tone of movie.
Sure, yeah. I didn't even, because for me, I felt like that would feel like that wouldn't even be. I feel like that would be something that was added onto it, but it might be
maybe. But like for me, that like I really feels like a Stephen King would add. Like,
yeah.
This guy has his face in all these books.
Yeah, but I like the Andrew Scott opening. And
is it Adam Scott or Andrew Scott?
I don't know why I said Andrew Scott.
It's Adam Scott.
Adam Scott.
Yeah.
Who's Andrew Scott?
I don't know.
I'm gonna search up Andrew Scott. Hold up, Andrew. Not Tate. Get out of here. Oh, that's Moriarty from from Sherlock. Adam Scott. Sorry.
Yeah, Adam Scott.
Adam Scott. If Andrew Scott was in it, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But Andrew Scott just as happy.
And I forgot Adam Scott was in this movie, so it was very much like a jump scare.
It was awesome. Yeah, and it set the tone well for the film. And yeah, I like that. I think Anyway, but that's kind of. That's it for me when it comes to positives.
I'll rattle off some of mine more. Deeper themes hidden in the comedy. I think a lot of the lines are funny because they're very matter of fact. Like the brother going like, but she was my mother too, and the brother going, oh, yeah, I never really realized that. That's like it's a funny bit, but for me, I love that. I love it because it brings the whole movie together and the whole themes of the movie of how the brother is so obsessed with one idea that as soon as it's challenged in a way that is thought-provoking, it's honestly a very human thing about grief and about loss of a human, is that you forget that things affect other people and it's not just you. Like you forget he's so infected by this revenge and so affected by this thought of like, I have to get revenge on my brother because like he killed my mother. Because he always says that, my mother. You killed my mother.
Yeah.
And he gets so invested in that idea that he hunts down the monkey and he gets obsessed. That's his whole life. If he maybe found the monkey earlier on in his life, he probably wouldn't have this obsession. But because he constantly knew his mother died because of this other person, did this thing, he lived his life to that end. And at the very end of the movie, when he's defeated and on the floor, his brother says to him, she was my mother too. I pretty much saying it was an accident. It wasn't my fault. It was the monkey. I didn't purposely do this. She was my mother too. I also lost a family member. I lost my mother. And you left me. Yeah,
if that was in the dialogue, if he said that whole
wasn't
thing,
the dialogue.
I know, but if he said in the dialogue, that would have worked way better for me.
Well, to me, that was very clear.
Great, yeah, it was clear. Like I understand that, but to me, I did not like that ending.
I loved.
It was like, because like, listen, that's beautiful. The way you're talking about the thematics of that is wonderful. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But the way it was like physically executed, the way that it was like, oh, but she's my mother too, and he's like, oh damn, yeah, and it was like, just like that fixed. I fucking hated that. Like,
Yeah,
not
so
hated that.
interesting.
Hated that is strong.
Yeah.
Definitely not hated that. But I was like, that's beautiful. The way
Yeah.
you're saying it. I want it to have been written like
Yeah.
that. And I get it. The tone of the film maybe wouldn't have demanded something like that. And I love how beautiful, I love how that makes you feel. Like, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
But to me, because this is leading to one of my biggest negatives of the film, is that I get you. Like, the way that you're talking about it is so beautiful, and it makes the film seem better than it is to me.
Yeah.
But the way it was just kind of like, we see that he's obsessed, and then all this stuff is happening, and he goes like, oh, because the actual tone of how it was done was that when he goes like, yeah, but it's my mother too, and he's like, oh yeah, man, let's do a little this. It's like, that doesn't justify. It's the same vibe as me as like the Martha scene from Batman v Superman, where it's like, we both got Mum's name is Martha, and I like that more, to be honest with you. But to me, I get that the thematics totally make sense, but the way that it was done, where it was so quick, like, oh yeah, I thought that was like, oh, okay.
To me,
that was so cheap.
I completely disagree because he's still a kid, the brother.
But he's not a kid; he's an adult, and I get,
No,
I get how he feels.
development.
Like, I get what you're saying. I get how you, 100%. Yeah, he's still stuck in that kid mindset.
That's why he does the hand slip.
I get
because
that.
he's still
I get
stuck
that.
in the mindset
But I
of
feel,
how a child
but
would react.
I get you. But like the way that it was done, the way that he was just kind of like, I know that he's still stuck in the child mindset, but I just still feel like it's a cheapish ending to go. Like, I feel like there was more like, I feel like if he was still a kid, would he really have gone, oh yeah, you're right? Like, would he have still been, no, fuck you? Like, I feel like,
well, he still had to go through all of this to
I know.
see that.
I know, but like, he's gone all through this, but sorry, he's gone through all what?
Getting his brother to there and trying to get his son to kill his own brother.
Yeah, I know, but the point where all it took was his brother just to say, oh, well, she's my mum as well.
Yeah.
That's enough for him to go, all of that shit that he's done, all this obsessing, just for that single line of she's my mum as well.
Sometimes
you don't
that's
think he
how it
wants,
is.
while being that going, oh,
No.
wait, also, like,
No,
to me,
absolutely
that's
not.
so, to me, I get that's the tone of the film, and I get he's meant to be silly like that.
Yeah.
But to me, I just can't go, oh, cool. Because to me, it's just like, that's not.
But that's real. In my brain,
like,
my brain, absolutely. That is 100%.
But the way I get you, I get the
100%.
thematics of what you're saying and what it means and what it would take.
Yeah.
But the actual scene itself,
Was amazing.
it doesn't come off that way to me.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, it feels so, I don't know. It's.
I know what you mean.
I don't want to. I'm not discrediting you. If it works for you, amazing. Yeah. But to me, it felt like a quick way to just wrap up the film. It didn't feel like this beautiful thematic poignant moment. And I think if there was that beautiful, if you wrote that speech and get Ozgood use that, I would have been, that's amazing.
Sure.
And I love, and don't get me wrong, thematically, the idea of that, it's wonderful. But the actual scene itself, it didn't, it didn't give me that. It didn't make me feel that way.
To me, like, all I needed was that. And I was like, boom, everything
wonderful
connects.
and great.
And
that's
so
good.
I will say, I loved that because this movie is so simple. Like, this movie, like, the ending, there's no fight scene or anything. It ends with them driving off. So this movie is so simple, and it's so grounded in that fact of, like, this movie is so, like, this tone of movie is so simple and so grounded. And at the end of the movie, they're like, they don't defeat the monkey, and the monkey never goes like, I know, I'm not saying.
I like that ending. I like that they
and I was like, this monkey, this whole movie is just one big fucking metaphor, and I absolutely love how it executed that scene, because I know people, and I know that sometimes all it takes is the person that you're so mad at, you're so unforgivably mad at, to come to you and be like, what the fuck are you doing? And then you look at yourself and you're like, I don't know why I was so mad. And then he dies instantly after. And I love that because it shows, because it's not like this would happen in real life. This character deserves to die. I'd hate to say it, I don't want to be that guy, but it's a metaphor for the whole movie of his brother wanted to kill him at the beginning of the movie with that ball, with that bowling ball. He wanted to kill his brother at the beginning of the movie because he hated his brother because of the shit the brother put him through. So his brother is doing the exact same thing he wanted to do when he was a kid. Look, it's resembling that. And but no, I'm not, and I know it didn't hit for you, but
No,
this end of that movie.
My issue isn't that there's this beautiful metaphors. It's just that the metaphors were done in, as you said, in a simple way.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, I'm not going to suddenly go, oh, this film's.
Yeah.
It works for you.
But Leo,
like,
I'm explaining why that simpleness worked for me. I really, and I liked how immediately after he does die, because of it's that whole thing, and I understand, like, it's not a grand way or a beautifully, like, wow, this is fantastic way of doing it, but I think in the tone and reflection and how this movie is made, it fit perfectly for this movie. If this was done in a different movie, if this exact ending, exact same story was done in a different movie, I would be on your boat. I'd be like, that sucks. But this movie built up to that I think, in a personal way, to make that work.
No, yeah.
Like, it made that work in that way. That's why, like you said with the Martha thing, I don't think that Zack Snyder movie built to that in that movie. I actually like that part. I
don't mind.
I like it. I think it's exactly like this movie. You just don't think about it. Like, he's just like instantly like, oh shit, this Superman has a mother, is a human. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful, that's brilliant. I don't think that movie leads up to that in any good way. I think this movie is an example of it does deserve that ending, in my opinion. Because this movie is just in your face of like, this is the theme. You see it. This movie story and structure is all over the place because this movie isn't going for a narrative. This movie isn't going for something that is an easy thing to be like, sit down and you just watch and go, that was a lot of fun. This movie, you kind of have to keep your brain on. And I hate, a lot of people are saying like, oh, you turn off your brain and you watch this movie. In my opinion, this movie is a lot deeper than some other people are saying that I've seen reviews of. They're like, oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, but you can turn your brain off. I'm like, no, keep your brain on. I was like, no, keep it on because I really think there's a lot more in it.
I get what you're saying.
And I think it hits those narratives really well, but I get why it wouldn't with some people.
No, sorry. And I think you've run me over with that last bit. I think it's a good ending for this type of film. I agree. And yeah, 100%. And I think this is once again down to us expecting different tones or wanting different tones.
Yeah.
And you've run me over that. I think it's that when people say like turn off your brain, like, because here's the thing, for you, it's these beautiful metaphors. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I can see the metaphors. Yeah. But I don't think it's deep with the metaphors. I think you can see the metaphor. Yeah. Right there. Like it's not like a thing that you need to look for, except for the horseman thing, because I didn't get that 100% the horseman thing. But with that, I was like, oh, okay, I see this as I understand the beautiful metaphor that you're saying. Yeah, I see it. Like I do see it. It's the same thing with the whole death. It sucks. Like that's and death happens all the time.
Because it's the whole movie.
That's the whole movie. Yeah. I see the metaphor. Yeah. The metaphor to me isn't hidden. It's just I don't like how the metaphor was executed. Yeah. And once again, personal things. Yeah. And I think to me, it was just, to me, a lot of my negatives with this is that it feels so on the nose. And I get for you saying, well, that's a story world thing. Yeah. It is going to be on the nose because it's a story world thing. Yeah. But for me, I get that. But doesn't mean I'm going to like that. It doesn't mean that I'm going to, like, you can have this silly world, but also be a little smart with it. Yeah. But instead with this film, what I felt like I got is that we're going to give you this silly world and we're going to go crazy with it. Yeah. But it's going to be on the nose and everyone can enjoy it in that way. Yeah. But to me, I was like, you can do everything you're doing, but not be so on the nose about it. But look, I love, it's so clearly struck a great chord with you, and that's so beautiful, and I love that, and I'm sorry if I came off in a way that I was.
Sometimes your face makes it look like you're really mad.
I'm very expressive with my face. Yeah. That I don't realize I'm expressive with my face, so I apologize. And dude, this is I'm so glad that you've enjoyed this film. In fact, I'm a little bit envious. I wish I enjoyed this.
I
film
wish
as
you
much as
would.
you.
I wish you enjoyed it too.
But
I'm sad that
I bet you like next year I'll watch it again. I'm gonna love it. Not needing to have that expectation.
because like I'm sad that you didn't love this movie. Like I wish you did.
Yeah, and but to me.
But
I think
all of your reasons are very valid.
I think it's just the tone thing because I don't know. Are we moving on to negatives now? I guess.
Yeah, I don't.
For me, it's just like I felt like everything was just too on the nose for me, and I'm so used. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like Long Legs was the most deep metaphoric film, but I don't know. I just felt like a lot of it was. I don't know, I'll see if I go to my notes here. We'll just finish talking about the ending because we were on the ending. Like I get the characterization of I forgot his name.
Bill?
I just call him Bully Boy. But
Bill?
Is it Bill the bull? Yeah, Bill the twin.
Yeah.
I get that his characterization was that he's stuck and completely motivated over one
Arrested
thing.
Development.
He was a child without his parents.
Yeah.
And I get that. And I'm discovering this more now while we're talking about it. I get that he's stuck like that. But to me, I wish there was that speech that you're doing.
Yeah.
I wish there was a more poignant moment. I wish there was. It wasn't so fast with.
Yeah. And
you're right.
I have that as a negative as well. I wanted more time.
I think it's because like I get you. What you're saying about him being stuck in that mindset is so true, and it's such a good. That guy's naked over there. Sorry, I'm looking out the window. Oh no, he's wearing pants. Sorry. The guy. It's true, and I get that. It's so on the surface that he was. It's not on the surface, but it's so clear that he's only been motivated for this one thing and this one thing only, and so when all it takes is it's literally a 5-10 second scene of the older brother going, yeah, where's my mum too, and he's like, oh fuck yeah, you're right, so, and there's like I don't think all right, I guess that's cool. I think my brain was just like, oh. Yeah. Okay, but on the same time, I get it with the tone. Like, I get with the tone is that they're like,
I think it does.
They're
go
not
a bit
gonna
too
be.
far in that
They're not
tone.
gonna be emotional and do whatever because that's not them.
Yeah.
But I kind of just felt like, oh, these brothers.
Yeah.
We have the chance now to do some good brother dynamics here, have a conversation.
Yeah.
But then he instantly gets killed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just like, you could do because this whole film I was looking for more kind of. I was looking at, like, there's metaphors there, but I was looking for more nuance, more something, and we never got that, which is maybe a testament to sticking to a tone, which is wonderful. And I like the ending. I do like the very ending with them driving off and going, look, let's go dance. I like that part.
Yeah.
Just the way that we got to that bit, I was just like, fuck. Like, I was felt like we were getting somewhere, but then it was so quick and on the nose. And I was just like, my brain was like, this film is not beating the on-the-nose allegations.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I was so ready for something. And listen, the way you described how the ending feels, I'm going to pretend they had a conversation because that sounds really good. Because, like, I love how it made you feel. And I think that's so right. And I think the characterization, I'm not denying the way that he was characterized. I just felt like that ending was just like, oh, okay. Yeah. Crick. Because we're sticking to this being a comedy, okay.
Yeah, I
like,
do think it did like lean too far into. I think the brother's response could have been less funny. I think he could have like. Well, the thing is, like, I don't think he says it, and he's like character is like kind of crying. You know, his character is like crying and going like, "Oh yeah, I never really thought about it in that way." And then like he's crying, but like it is shot to be funny. But like I guess the character doesn't really say it like into a way that is comedy. It's just perceived to be as comedy, which is like, which I do think it does go a wee bit too far in that direction of they could have, that could have been a bit longer. I do believe you. Like, I do agree. But to me, I didn't need it to be longer, but I don't say I wouldn't have liked it to not be longer. Like, I would have liked it to like have a bit more of them time to talk and like to reconnect, because I think maybe if it did, like, more people would see what I see. Did you see what I see?
With that being said, like, I don't know if I needed like I know I'm saying here like I needed a full conversation, but it was just kind of like it felt, and I think the ending makes it a little bit better in the fact that like if the very ending of the film was he went, oh, that's okay, and then everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
that would have been way worse. I think the fact that they went straight to, okay, they've kind of forgiven each other, but the world is still ending.
Yeah.
That makes it better.
Yeah.
But I still just felt like, I don't know. I'm feeling more better about the ending now since we've talked about it than when I initially felt.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's not the ending of the film. It's just the ending of those two. And they never really had that big of a emotional connection to warrant something
I think
big.
it's definitely
So-
a problem of having the characters apart for too long. And I do have a negative of, I think the children stuff went for too long. I think we could have gotten to the adults a lot earlier on.
Yeah, I think, 100%. And I do want to talk about more of the kids stuff because I wasn't.
Yeah,
Look,
the dialogue.
I mean, we can maybe move on to that.
Yeah.
I really didn't like the dialogue of Bill or the girl bullies.
Yeah, so
like
funny.
I felt like they kind of were like, I felt like they were trying to seem, I think like they were trying to make them be quirky, but to me the quirkiness didn't work. They were just bullies but girls, and I just don't think they were like, they were doing weird stuff like put bananas on yourself, and I was like,
well, because they're monkey.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about no, I forgot about that. But I was just kind of like, okay,
Well, yeah.
sure. But I just think the other stuff with them, like kind of walking like
They're Stephen King boys.
this. I know, but I it doesn't mean I can like it.
No,
like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just felt like, I don't know if the acting was off. Maybe that's why I didn't like it.
I think it was just directed to be that way.
I don't know. There's just something off about the bullies. I just didn't think they were cool.
I thought it was
or
funny because they had braces and they had a lisp and they were much shorter and obviously less intimidating.
But they were so clearly trying to be like a quirky thing, and it just didn't make me think that was funny.
Because you're different.
Because
you're different.
It's once again like the biggest negative of this film is just that I didn't connect to it. I think there's some stuff in this that would just totally work, but I just didn't connect to it.
Because you're a millennial and
there's
you
just
want to be
some dialogue that just didn't feel like Bill going like, oh, you want to say that you want to suck the monkey's cock?
Yeah,
I was just like,
that's his
I
brother
guess
stuff.
you're bullying, but like
Leo, you've never had an older brother. I have two older brothers. They say that to me all the time.
You want to suck a monkey's cock?
Yeah, they say that to me all the time.
But they're twins. Like that's the thing. Like
they don't say that to me. It was
like
a
I don't know. I just
joke.
felt like, but I don't know. It just felt okay. And then knowing how that's gonna lead to him trying to kill him, it just felt like okay, like. Did he need to die? Like, did you really need to try to kill him?
Well, yeah.
I get that
He doesn't
I know he's a
try
kid.
to.
I know he's a kid. So he's gonna be
it.
stupid. Yeah, he tries. He goes, "Can you kill him?" He goes to the monkey.
Oh yeah.
My brain was just like, "Oh, okay, that's what's gonna make you do that."
Yeah.
Okay. Like, to me, it didn't feel. I get it. We're all kids.
Yeah.
But like, maybe it's just they didn't look that young. Maybe they were younger in the script than they look.
Yeah.
And it made me go like, okay, this really feels like you're
Kids do
trying to
that
just
shit.
make this bit happen.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like he was naturally a really bad brother for you to warrant to do that. But I get it.
Well,
We're kids and we're silly.
And also, like, they don't think about, this is going to sound stupid, they don't think about the consequences. They don't think further than the black and white of like, I hate my brother, wish he was dead. He never thinks about like, oh, that death would make my mother sad.
For
or
my
whatever.
brain, I just thought like, he's seen the evidence of that monkey
Yeah.
being fucking weird and possibly killing their babysitter. That I was just like,
But he's
are you
like-
really going to try to kill your brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's like, he like thinks it as like a god because then he pleads to it. He's like, I know what you are, and he kind of wants to plead with it, and that's when he learns that when he's an adult,
Look,
like, don't fuck with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't like the kids. Wanted more Elijah Wood, but we talked about
Yeah.
that. I think some of the brothers was once again, this is just the tone of the film that I didn't fully connect to. Like, Corey Cunningham forgot his fucking name.
Yeah.
Like, why did he want the monkey again?
Because it looked like his father.
Looked like his father. Was that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that wasn't it. Okay.
Yeah, and I really that reminded me. I really like that because it shows that the monkey means different things to different people. The monkey isn't like to the brother; it's a lure of death.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lure of he believes it's death, and the monkey lures him with it. It's like makes you see him everywhere. But then like it also brings in the fact that like other different people respond to death in a different way, or the disappearance of a family member in a different way. And Corey Cunningham's character saw the monkey because he was asked to get the monkey, but then he saw it as like, oh, it reminds me of my father because my father left when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And then also their father left when they were a kid. So it kind of relates back to that story of like, this monkey is a symbol of whatever trauma you've been through and whatever trauma you've believed in, and it tricks you into using it. You okay?
I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you.
Hey, you go.
Yeah, it relates and brings different people together in different ways that I do enjoy that story element and how it lures different elements of different people together. I kind of forgot where I was going, but that's okay.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking at my notes, and one of the notes is I wish it was more scary, but I guess that's not what this film was. So, like, a lot of these notes I'm looking at all these notes. I have a huge pile of notes. It's not huge, but like a whole list. And I'm looking at each one and going, well, that was just that tone. That was just that tone. And I'm like, I feel like we've talked about tone a lot. And I'm like, some of the stuff I'm just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I don't need to carry too much more about the negatives. But I think, look, I think this is one of the first reviews that talking to you about this film, I'm getting more convinced on your side. Not that I have never been convinced by what you've said, but what I just mean by it is like, I'm starting to really realize, I went in going, there's so many things wrong about this film. Because to me, I felt like a lot of the writing was so on the nose to me.
Yeah.
Like, it felt so much like this is a first draft. Not that I'm not saying it is a first draft, but it felt like a lot of this is just like, to me, it felt surface level. To me, it felt like, okay, we're just using this as an excuse to get to that bit, to get to that bit, and I wasn't satisfied with certain bits. But then more as I talk to you here, I'm like, well, that's not, it doesn't have to be that. That doesn't have to be bad, and that doesn't have to be like really. Like, I understand that's a tone thing, and usually I'm like, oh, if I don't like the fucking tone, I'm not going to forgive the film for what seems to be like issues with it up front. Yeah. So it's a thing where like I still don't like love this film. I haven't not, but at the same time I've now kind of gone, is it really as bad as what I'm thinking it is?
Because there are definitely things that aren't amazing about this movie. Like either like story elements that like can't just be forgiven because of tone. You know, like I think the stepdad should have been in it more, and I think there are elements of like, oh, I do wish that the ending of the brothers were like bigger. Like there was a bigger element of that, and I do wish we would have cut. Like there are things that I think are bad with this movie that are just like a filmmaking or like story wise and script wise. But so like I do believe that there is stuff wrong with this movie. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, look. I don't have too much more to say about it.
I'll say one more positive.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I like how the mother is used in this, because she is, you know, very realistic. Tells them up front that I'm going to die, you're going to die. But it brings a sense of. I did talk about this before about the ending, like the let's dance. But I think that is like a thing that I haven't really heard anyone really talk about, like the mother. No one really talks about the mother in this movie, and I think that's kind of sad because the metaphors are obvious in this movie, but like a movie can have a very obvious message, but it can have elements of that message that isn't like the forefront, because the forefront of this movie is about death and acceptance, and that's the monkey, and that's the way that it's done in the brothers. But there's also another element of the mother. And I think a mother is like one of a complex thing that isn't like in your face and is a more subtle more of just a character and not really like a message. It's just like how this character responds to all this and how this character affects her sons going forward and how the different perspectives of their mother changes. Because the main brother has this perspective of his mother of the guilt of what he did, and then sees and has a nightmare of his mother come into the room, talking and having this lovely scene, and then the mother screaming with blood coming out of her face. And there's that perspective, and there's the perspective of Bill, I think that's his name, I honestly can't remember, the bully, of the perspective of this perfect woman that like life would have been so much better if she wouldn't have died. If life would be this way and I wouldn't be like this. And at the end, but we see the mother from a non-childish point of view, objective film of she isn't a perfect mother. you know, but the kids see her as a perfect mother. And they grow up, the bully brother grows up thinking of his mother as like the angel that would have saved him. The angel that would have been, if she was there, I would have been perfect. So I really do like how for the rest of the movie, even though the father ran away, the mother was still always there for her children. But the main brother, the non-bully brother, the glasses brother, he left his child and did exactly what his father did and didn't learn any lessons from his mother. He was scared of what he did to his mother, and so he ran away from the responsibilities of what his mother tried to show him. So that's why I think the end of the movie, when he's like going through all this trauma like his mother would have gone through, husband leaving, having to take care of the 2 children, babysitter dying, probably not having a well-paid job or whatever, like all the grief that she has to go through, he is finally now seeing that his mother was just a person. And at the end of the day, the thing that his mother taught him was, in the face of adversity, in the face of death, be with the people you love, and after a funeral, let's dance. And I really enjoyed that part of this movie. Do I think it's explored in a magnificent, beautiful way? No. Did I see it? Yeah. And I do appreciate that it's in the movie. But do I think that it's like a masterpiece of how that should be done in a movie? No. Am I maybe reading a bit too far into it? Maybe. I don't know. But that's what I got from it. And I'm not going to disregard myself from like, oh, maybe that's not what the movie was going for. I believe that that's what the movie was going for. So I'm going to take it as that.
I disagree. No, that's beautiful. Yeah. Fist bump to that. That's so beautiful. And look, I don't have too much to say. Do we want to wrap this up? How do you feel? Okay. So, oh shit!
Let's wrap it up.
Cool. So let's wrap it up. So we're now going to give our ratings. So if you haven't listened to our reviews before, we have a thermometer of ratings. So at the top of the thermometer, no, wait, why am I saying at the top? We normally go to the bottom. Yeah. At the very bottom is shit show. Yes. That's absolutely awful. No redeeming qualities. Get that shit out of here. I hate that shit. It's awful. Then above that is bull snore, get out the door. It's bad. It's not worth your time. Boring. There's maybe like an image in there that's cool, but like it's really not worth it. And then above that is Book Appointment for Disappointment. So it's a film that's like it could have been great, but there's things that's bringing it down. That's just like, oh, it's not good. Or it could have been decent, but it's just it's not there. Or it could be a film that we don't normally try to put like a prior like expectations for it in account like. But like, it could sometimes
what if it was like
fit in that.
If it was a
like,
sequel to like a movie or like you know that.
I think the biggest example that we both look back to is like Halloween Kills. Yeah. is the definition of a book appointment for disappointment, where like the film, if you just treat it as like a slasher, is like a fun slasher-ish. But the fact that it like went from being something that was pretty good to just being now really dumb, it's like book appointment for disappointment. And then above that is Hey, It's Fun. So it's a film that's like. It's good. It's possible. Go give it a watch. It's not perfect. There's some things that are kind of iffy about it, but it's a really just at least fun time, and you should go give it a watch. Then above that is Fantastically Splendid. So this is like a great film. It's such a good film. Go give it a watch. It's once again maybe not perfect, but it's a strong film, and it's definitely worth a watch. And then above that is Classic or Masterpiece. So this is like a film that's 5 stars, so good. It's going to become an instant classic in the years to come. Or just to them, or to the reviewer, it's a really special film to them. So it's the film that they really love. So
Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed.
I think we're going to have different ratings on this. I'll start off with me then. I went in this going, okay, I was going to give this a book appointment for disappointment. I think I've been convinced on a Hey, It's Fun. I think it's a Hey, It's Fun.
A low Hey, It's Fun, but you can say that.
Hey, It's Fun.
Okay.
I didn't think it's a low one. It's just it's a film that, look, I think it was fun. Like it was fun. There were bits where it was like the first time, and I hate it when this happens, but it's the first time I think in a cinema that I went, oh. Yeah. Like I think there might have been a moment where I felt bad because I think I did it to Louis by accident, but I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
I did a bit of a scoff.
Yeah, you
for
did.
A bit.
You scoffed when
And
the
I was
teenagers
like-
started talking.
Or something like that. I
And
was
then
just kind
when
of like,
the brother thing happened, you were like,
okay. Like I don't like doing that,
Yeah.
but like it's happened before. Like I've been in cinemas with some
Yeah.
people in my. I'm not gonna say who,
Mhm.
but there was someone who was just going like, what the fuck is it? Like
Yeah.
one of my friends went, what the fuck?
and you kind of want to explain.
And I'm just kind of like, I want to go like, stop it,
Yeah,
shut up, like
yeah.
watch the film. But it's the first
Yeah.
time I ever actually in a cinema
That was
went,
yeah.
and I don't like doing that. But anyway, but look, the beautiful thing is this might be one of the first few times that during a conversation I was convinced on, hey, you know what, it's fine, it's okay
fine.
film.
It's okay.
So hey, it's fun. May go up when I watch it again, but yeah. What about you?
Fantastically splendid for me. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I identify the faults. I think there is like stuff that I just like I don't think is necessary, and the tone doesn't work for. You know, I think there are parts of the movie that I'm like, honestly, is like that could be cut out. You know, like the boss that he has that vapes. Like he like it's funny, but like it's just completely unnecessary. And there are elements of the movie that I'm just like, yeah, this is kind of like nothing. But at the end of the day, I had a fucking great time.
Yeah.
Financially splendid. I've talked a lot about why, but yeah, that's...
Well, there you go. That's our ratings.
Mhm.
I hope you give this film a watch. I don't know if it's going to be in cinemas by the time we finish talking about it. It's a bit of a not late-ish review, but it's just a
Yeah.
review that's coming when we're ready for
A month
it.
later.
Oh, it's a month later. Okay, well, there you go. But it's a cool film. Give it a watch. Also, I don't know if I've mentioned... I don't know if we've said this, but you know when you do a quiz at the end?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're feeling it this time, but we'll do it
No.
another time. Quiz.
When, in which country did I get bit by a monkey?
Yeah, there you go. Do you want to... That's fine.
In what? In what?
Yeah, is it Indonesia?
Okay.
Or is it...
Indonesia, Australia, Europe,
I wonder which one
America.
it is. I wonder which one.
I want to edit that
Wow.
out.
Wow.
I
Which,
want
is
to edit that out.
which one has monkeys, do you think? No. But yeah.
Where in my body did I get bit by the monkey? How many needles did I have to get?
Yeah. Give me closest to Louis' full medical record on that.
Yeah.
Wins a prize. Thanks for listening to us. Hope you can stay with us with this new format that we're doing.
Next, we're going to be reviewing A Better Man.
We'll be a better
A
man.
new monkey movie.
We're gonna do Monkey Mondays.
Monkey March.
But thanks for listening, and go form your own opinion. And I'm doing that fucking film critic guy on YouTube. Hell yeah,
Hell yeah.
Monkey.
Monkey. Monkey Dracula.
Monkey Dracula. Make that happen.
Make that happen. Asylum.
Asylum.
In the company that makes like Sharknado.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, and check out Doctor Who podcast episodes. Okay, lol, bye.
What's the channel called?
The Who Herald.
The Who Herald, yeah.
Yeah, the Who Herald.
Yeah, but they didn't know that.
We don't know that yet. We decided it
We
now.
decided that now.
The Who
You
Herald.
messaged me that like yesterday, and I was like, I was thinking that too.
The Who Herald.
Yeah.
Okay. The Who Herald. Ooh. Okay, bye.
Okay,
Lol.
bye-bye.
See you,
Lol.
bye.